This recording is about when you are curious what C Sharp version you're using. As you know, in Python, we can say Python, and we can know that we're using 2.7.18. And even inside a Python program, we can programmatically tell what version of Python we're using. But these things, unfortunately, do not behave like this in C Sharp. There's no way to do it programmatically in C Sharp. Let me show you. I am now in the Windows subsystem, which is an isolated environment, and the .NET version that I have here is 6031, which is isolated from the .NET subsystem that I have in my Windows, as the WSL is a completely different environment. On the other hand, up here in the get bash, this shell is the one that is integrated with Windows. So the .NET here is the one that is the same .NET in my Windows, and it is slightly different. Suppose we are trying to create a new project here, like .NET, .NET new console app 1. And we do not know what is the C# version that we are using here. To explicit knowledge of a C# version could be important. For example, if you want to use the newer C# syntax, and whether you will be able to use it or not, that depends on what is a C# version that you have. According to Microsoft, the C# version depends on what is your .NET framework. So there is a table that maps 1 to 1. So if you're having .NET 6, then this will be your C# version by default. Also, you can modify the version, but when you do that, there will be unpredictable behavior and hard to debug issues. It's basically an undefined behavior. So what Microsoft is telling us is, whatever is the .NET framework you're using, so then that is also you will also have the corresponding C# version. At present, when I do this recording, the C# version is already at version 11, I think, or 10. Anyway, the way to know what C# version you have is it is documented in Microsoft. It's like you just put a macro error version. Um, this is not the same as the one in Python, because this will not build, but it will tell us what is the C# version that we have. And we have a build error, and at the same time we are told that we are using C# 10. Alright, let's go to the WSL and create another .NET project. And yep, we have the same .NET version 6, and we will have a build error, and it's also telling us we are using 10. Alright, so how about if we are using Visual Studio? So I will launch my Visual Studio and create a new project, and I will C sharp should be for example should be a desktop, Windows desktop. Mhm. Windows 4 and Windows 1 .NET Framework. How about this? Okay. So when you are in IDE, depending on the type of project, uh, go to the properties and build and advance here. And we can see that we're using version 10. Okay. We can also use the same technique in program.cs by adding version and create a build error, and it will also tell us we are indeed in version 10. Okay. How about let me try to create another project. This one, .NET Framework. We'll go again to properties and build, advance. And look here, we are not told what C# version we have here. So let's go to the program.cs and use our same technique, do a build, and look and behold, this one is version 7.3 of C#. Okay, so like I said, the intro of this, uh, at the intro, that it knowing the C# version is not that taken for granted, but you have to explicitly know what it is, because it could be not what you expected. And let us try to go to the version of let's go to the version of the .NET used there. Windows. And the C is Proj. And the .NET framework here is V V472, and we compare that to the .NET framework here. Target framework is .NET 6. Yep. So, but even if this one is version 7, there is still a chance to force the C# version to a different value by just putting within property group the long version 80. Okay. After editing, open the project again in Visual Studio and build it. And as you can see, we are now at version 8. So here we are using an older .NET, which is supposed to be using the C# 7.3, but we changed it to 8 by changing the CSproj file. Um, this kind of thing is not recommended by Microsoft. It will work or it will not work depending on your mileage may vary. But the conclusion here is whatever is your .NET framework, that will decide what is your C# version.